Actually, what we're here for is to discuss Bafana and the possibility of Thembinkosi Lorch and Umduduze Shabalala being called up to Bafana. We saw when Hugo Bruce announced his squad a couple of days ago, the squad that's going to play is Zambia. A lot of people were concerned rather as to why isn't Umduduze Shabalala called up? Why isn't Thembinkosi Lorch called up? Because we're talking about two players who are doing well at club level and they're also doing well continentally. Thembinkosi Lorch has to be one of the best players in Africa right now. He's playing at one of the highly competitive leagues in Africa right now. So when as a Chiefs guy, how does it feel to know Guti?
As a Chiefs guy, as
a Chiefs guy, how does it feel to know Guti? I'm not a player in the Chiefs and busy with what.
I think for me, the whole situation with Hugo Bruce and Kaizer Chiefs debacle is being blown out of proportion, you know?
Yeah.
First and foremost, we have to understand that he's the coach. He's been given the reins to take over. He's done what he's done, which is get us to the AFCON, and has now led us to the World Cup with the selection criteria that he's used thus far, right? In football and in any sports, when we bring in coaches, whatever methodologies or criteria that they use to select their players, that's on them, right?
Yeah.
We want to see our best players representing the country. And I'm going to touch on Lorch before I go on to the Kaizer Chiefs selection of players, right?
Sure.
Lorch definitely deserves to be in that squad, right? If we're looking at a player that is doing very well in Africa, we're going to the AFCON. We're looking to win the AFCON. We're not going there to add numbers. We're going there to win it. So we need our absolute best. He is one of those players that I feel deserves to be there. And when he's been questioned in interviews and in press conferences, he speaks about age. He speaks about the future of Bafana, which is quite weird because he's leaving at the end of the World Cup. So I don't know what future he's going to be a part of when he says and declare that he's not going to be around after the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
We look at Lorch's age. Lorch is what, 28 at this point in time? Sorry, he's 32, not 28, 32. He still has hopes. We've literally heard him in his last press conferences speaking about Thembinkosi and saying that, you know, it all depends on his fitness and if he comes back. Thembinkosi hasn't been playing, he's been inactive, but he has hopes of bringing a 38-year-old Thembinkosi back into the squad. We know what Mshishi is all about. We know how good he is. We know what Lorch is all about, and he's showing it currently. We need form in as much as we need consistency and balance. So Lorch has to be in that team, in my opinion.
So do you think Lorch is better than Mshishi? If it are up to you now, let's say Mshishi was in good health, and then you had to choose one between Lorch and Mshishi. Are you saying that Lorch is better than Mshishi?
No, I'm not saying that Lorch is better than Mshishi, but then if Mshishi wasn't injured and it was a consistent performance from the time he's been involved in the national team, then obviously then Mshishi gets the heads up because then it's the integration that we're looking at. We don't have much time. We don't have much time right now. You know, this is the man that we're saying if Mshishi was fit, answering your question, then Mshishi then is the one taken to the AFCON. But if it's based on current form, then without a shadow of a doubt, my man.
But don't you think
Lorch should definitely be in that squad?
Don't you think that if Hugo Bruce he's at a point where he's like, I've worked longer with Thembinkosi and I've seen what Thembinkosi can do for the team and what he's contributed for the team. That's why he's saying, okay, let me give him 2 weeks. If he doesn't play in the next 2 weeks, then he's not going to the AFCON. But if you are done in the next 2 weeks, we have AFCON. Whereas it's a different conversation now, let's say Lorch, whereas Hugo Bruce knowledge. And truth be told, Lorch went to Mamelodi Sundowns and failed. Urulani just liked him. And then Urulani believed in him and said, what's the name like with that Casablanca? So Hugo Bruce Lorch failed team. What makes you think Bafana? And if you are busy,
yeah, cool. You said a mouthful, but we're not talking about Sundowns. We're not talking about Lorch's form at Sundowns. We're talking about Lorch's form at Villa Casablanca, where right now he's one of the most informed players in the African continent. We're on a quest to win the AFCON, my brother. And if you're talking about one of the most informed players on the continent, and he is of your nation, and we are not calling him up, this guy has had a tremendous Club World Cup. This man has shown at the highest level in terms of clubs, European clubs, that he's able to. Remember, in football, we need players that come in with the right mentality, right? This team, as much as you guys might have fan debacle about, hey, we've got 9 players from Pirates and whatever, no, we need players who've got experience. Mentality counts, you know? How many of these players that are in the current team have played on the African continent? Yes, Pirates had a good run with Jose last season, where they got knocked out by Pyramids in the semi-final. A bunch of the Mamelodi Sundowns players are the guys that I know for a fact that are used to this competition, right? Likes of Grant Kakana are not there anymore, right? What's happening with Grant Kakana, for instance, right? But to answer you, I'm just saying in terms of absorbing him, he's injured. Thembinkosi has been injured, but there's no talk about bringing back a Kakana back into the squad, absorbing him in. What happens to those caps? We need to look at the amount of caps that we're going into this tournament with: balance, experience, youth, and talent, and current form. So based on current form, my brother, Thembinkosi Lorch has got the experience. He's played at that level before. He's showing it now. He needs to be in that squad. That's my opinion. Thembinkosi has been a favorite of Hugo Bruce for a while, even though he was stubborn, Umadala, when he didn't want to bring him in the beginning. And he's showing again that he's being stubborn with Thembinkosi Lorch. He's being stubborn. We all see it, right? Let's use the eye test. We don't need to say that we need to have UEFA A coach licensing, P, what. We're using the eye test. We know that Thembinkosi Lorch is not a man and he needs to be in that team. As to who he drops and who plays and who he calls up into the formation, that's his job and Clemens to do. But we need the best of the best in that.
Okay, so before you, the player from Kaizer Chiefs introduced Shabalala has been making the rounds on social media.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that Hugo Bruce is not fair on the board. Hugo Bruce should have called him up to be Bafana, at least given him a chance now against Zambia to prove to him why he deserves to go to the AFCON. And then when off air, you were saying that to play the best game of his life against Old College. Should Hugo Bruce call him based on one game's performance or Hugo Bruce Pella? Prior to Obet, how many games did you play? What did you offer to the team?
First and foremost, my brother, Hugo Bruce selects players that have played 1 or 2 games from other teams. We're not going to mention, we already know what that is, right? 2 games, 3 games. So you're asking me that question, should you not look at the longevity of the players' performances, right? There's players that have been chucked into Bafana, the likes of Sibelebele, the likes of Moremi, by giving a string of 2 or 3 performances, but they make their way into Bafana. Granted, not a problem. Shabalala, for me, Hugo Bruce is a little bit unfair. He goes to these games. He goes and watches a Kaizer Chiefs game. He watches them do Shabalala, gives 2 assists, plays the game of his life, for me, this season, particularly. You've already called him up, right? To Bafana camp. He was there at the camp before when Rene got injured. He got called up from Rene's injury. He got called up. You're already integrating him into the system. And then you go and watch him, and then he has a good performance, and then you don't call him. What is the reason? Then you call it Keleto, who, most of the nation have been saying, this boy's on form. If it's all about merit, then give Keleto a chance. You're bringing Keleto in now. You're giving him his first call-up when we've been saying, give this guy an opportunity to play. It's a Zambia game. It's a friendly. Then it's AFCON. When have you integrated Keleto into this team? Where you get him do a chance to get used to the environment, get to know what the national team setup is like. Now, after he has a game of his life, give him another run. Give him a 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Give him another 15 minutes. That's what integrating a national team looks like. So, for me, Hugo Bruce is a little bit
unfair.
I wouldn't even say unfair. Like, it just looks like he's all over the place right now. Because what he says with his selections, he wants players that are on form, that are playing. But Utatama player from a Pirates, Bangadali. Ababi's a national team. Sure. Ufunama player that are young for the future. But he still wants Thembas wanting to get fit and hopefully make it to AFCON when he hasn't been played. Sure. He wants to use players that they play for teams that are doing well. Keleto only gets his call up now. He's been at Kukune the whole season, and Kukune was at number 1 at one stage and number 2 at one stage, and he's only calling him up now. So it begs the question, how and what criteria is Hugo Bruce using for the national team at this point in time? And that's in crunch time, manje. Say we have con manje. Kusana skat mfethu. Kusana skat. I think he has to. He's what I like and what I'm seeing from what Hugo Bruce has done. He's not leaning into a lot of like the international guys. There's a lot of guys who are playing internationally that haven't been called up as well. The only guy that I think he leans into is Foster, Lau Foster, and the rest of the guys are local, So it's a big stamp on South African football. I hope that the players that deserve to go to the AFCON are selected based on merit, and not Uguti Uman Udlalela in. And fans also must stop this thing of being very divisive. When Sundowns was dominating the national team, Galama player were almost close to 9-10 players. It was not such a big thing that's going on right now. Whereas now it's very divisive where it's like, hey, I'm a player with Chiefs, I'm a player with Pirates, but when Sundowns was dominating, there was not much talk about these kind of things, you know what I mean? So Hugo Bruce must just take players that deserve to be called up. He must make it a fine balance between experienced players that have got enough caps on the African continent, players that are on form, and players that have got potential.
All I want is for Bafana to win the AFCON.
100%.
Because I'm at a point where I trust Umata. He's made decisions that confused us as a country, only for him to bear fruit. I remember in the World Cup qualifier with the World Cup qualifiers after Wickham Reynolds was injured, and then he called up evidence Makhopa. A lot of people were saying that why not Bradley Khopa, only for Makhopa to go there and score.
100%.
So he knows what he's doing, and I feel like
he's got his players.
Yeah, he's got his players. But I like the fact that he has a backbone. He can stand his ground. If he says he's not calling Thembinkosi Lorch, don't expect him to call him up because we want him to call him up. If he says he's not bringing him, he's not bringing him. But he'll find someone to play there, because also if it wasn't for Matala, we wouldn't have had the likes of Abu Baswela. Yeah, we would have had him Kukuluwani City, but I don't think he'd be where he is now. Because Umatala trusted him, Matala Kukuluwani City, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, this guy's actually good. But we're all shocked, don't you? What is? You understand me? Also, what he did with your Jaden Adams, Powers Basatino, and all these other guys, he used them in their sharp so much that even Imamele Sundowns was like, no, gents, come this side, you know. But now my only question I have about Umatala is the fact that when Debs wasn't getting game time, and he called them up and they started. But now he's saying that no, Jaden Adams and Fowles was a team by because of Imani, and he's not calling them up. And Jaden Adams is also contributing.
His reasoning is a little bit inconsistent, and that's where
there's a lot of contradiction.
100%. And just another curveball for you there. I mean, the Bafana Pirates, we see that Mbogazi has been partnering center defense with Usiema.
Yeah.
Right now, let's talk about that because it's quite tricky. Now we already know Upojeda wasn't playing that much, or hasn't been. But now because we go into a tournament, now it forces the Pirates coach with Amdalise actually getting time, because you cannot take because it seems the Usbisi no Mbogazi are the starting 4 and 5 for us. Bafana. But if Pojeda Manji is not playing at club level, and here's this boy Usiema, and all the other boys at Pirates that string 2 or 3 games, they get call-ups. Why is this boy not being called up? Because clearly he's the 4 and 5 partner with Mbogazi. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
let's be honest about it, because now that boy, if there's one boy that I would say merits a call-up, is Usiema. Because we see what he does for Pirates, and he's partnering Mbogazi. They got this communication going, they got this understanding, and they play together. And But now he's going to see
similarities good going forward.
Both of them. Diagonal balls, that's what they were practicing in pre-season, that's what they were doing. Yeah. And one's left-footed, one's right-footed.
And that's what we need going to the AFCON. We don't need Umuntu that's just going to stick 90-90, because
and we know Poison as a hard tackler, he's like one. But now, why not absorb that boy? Even if you're not going to start him, why don't you give him that camp experience, play him last 10, 15 up, you know what I mean? Yeah. And take him to an AFCON. That's a boy that I'm thinking deserves to be on the plane.
Yeah, but I guess maybe he needs to back in the experience. But I think the difference between South Africa and most African countries, I'll exclude Morocco, we are a ball-playing nation 100%. As opposed to the high-press nation. As fun in Nigeria, where it's meant to 50-50, boom, AY, take the ball and then shoot.
We saw it against the Nigerians.
Yes, our style of play is slightly similar to the Brazilian way of playing. Only Bonasiam fits that way of playing because he's a ball player. I mean, I know Portland is also a ball player, but Usiema, just how he leads the game, just how he distributes the ball, how he comes back and covers space. Have you seen what he does on the right side?
He assists as a defender from his side of the field. He assists. And put the ball into a space where a fast player like Sibelebele, just to give a Pirates example, or an Ozunapolis, has acres of space, plays it behind the defense. He's got that vision. And on the counter, when teams are pressing us, because now they'll know as soon as they get the ball, they're going to have to come at us. And once they come at us, we playing almost like a low block. We leave our wingers out wide. A guy like Siema and Mbogazi who can switch the ball across to either way with efficiency. Then we've got speedy wingers like Anapolis and Moremi, you know what I mean? Yeah. They will make the danger for us, man. They will make the danger for us. And I just hope that Reina's, our strikers need to be really, really on point in this tournament, because chances won't come that easily in this tournament, Defenses will be very well aware of us. There's a big community that's talking about South African football at the moment in terms of how we play. The Mamelodi Sundowns Club World Cup campaign gave a glimpse of what we're about, and that's culture, that style is brought in with Pirates, Sundowns, and all the other team players that come in. That's who we are. We play the ball, like you say, we play the ball, we want it on the feet, we move the ball very well. In the last third, we use our speed and our skill. And players like Talented Mbata who can crack a ball, Mbule can also crack as well, to be quite honest, Those are guys that are going to play important roles in our squad to get us over the line, because in Bafana we want nothing but to bring this tournament home.
It's move minus
all right.
When I use someone who attend a press conference, so you get to see a coach, Bositshele sinye stories chazayo la nje phela owadi makafika Pirates bekamuntu osha ama tricks but all of a sudden manje uwathi usekafaka ama diesel ama yini wenzani
Terminator my friend
yeah
my friend yababa jo my friend these days
I am
Charlie,
South Africa.
you know, one thing I want to say about Coach Wadi Dog is that I think for me, I think he's a phenomenal coach, right? If you look at his story, I mean, he's a Moroccan international. He played in the Premier League for Fulham. Played up against, the likes of your Benzema, your Ruud van Nistelrooy. It's well documented. The guy knows the game. So to question him is something else, right? He came to the country, came to Pirates because he was already at Marumo Gallants, where he did well in beating both Pirates and Chiefs. Gets the job, comes in with what he's currently doing right now, which is to mash it up, because he's mashing it up. He mashes the team up. He did that in the beginning, but it was almost too soon. And then the Pirates faithful got on his back. But I was another plumber. But then after he won,
I was one of those.
You're one of those. After he won the MTN 8, I think myself personally, something was like a little bit released in him to say, at least I've got silverware. And any coach, any player that wins silverware boosts your confidence.
Yeah.
So that confidence translates not only to his coaching style, because now we see it, week in, week out in Bafana, you never know who's going to play at Orlando Pirates.
And Pirates are we.
And it'll be a shama to suit in town. And so, one gonna go accident, but Limala Bamizu 10 minutes, I'll tell our shama suitinya. I'll our kitchen and I'm a player, you can't flag Mabako, Abangabuza like Makan. Tozak. Manji, uze ngisini style. Ushahidi yo, la. Mama pegi ikola ya sheti la. Mauyazi label, mauyazi drip, check. La, Dio, why?
And then the jacket to party.
Ijaketi mhlambe ngoba ngibonanga kahle mhlambe ngaba LV ngoba ngibona ibhanda LV, so the belt is LV, right? He wears Hermes sneakers or formal sneaker shunyana vibe babo. Shiny, he must just tailor his pants a little bit. That's where I'll critique him a little bit. It's bulged up there, like it's packed up or
so you must get them tailored.
I tailor so then you can see the nice Hermes sneaker, and then you can see that he's that guy now. He's dripped out, press conferences. It's almost like every game's a final now, because I think he started that when he went to that final, Togai suit, and then someone's like, so the confidence is blooming, not just from a team perspective, but also from his personalities coming out. And I also liked how he's also got a bit of authority now to say, in the last 15 minutes, they should get in the it's not a circus here. Call out his players in front of in the press conference and said, I don't like that. We need to control the game. We need to finish the game. Yes, we might be 2-0 up and whatever, but that's not what I'm going to entertain. So he's firmly getting his grip on this team, which is impressive. And I mean, guys, I know we want consistency, or the Pirates faithful wants a starting lineup 80. The only person that starts in that team every single game that guy's been there has been Bogazi, Sipochenko because he's the keeper, and Usikle Ndudi. But as for everybody else,
and last game, Bogazi came on as a sub.
Yeah. I think just for rest purposes, more than anything else, just for rest. But I don't think it was anything else other than that. He's not injured. You would have played him, And also, like I said, I think also the pressure that he has to play Poyela, because Poyela, we already know that he's in the plans of Hugo Bruce as a starting back four. So he has to play. So he can't go to the AFCON with being sitting on the bench. Look at the bench, but he's going to start for us. So there's all these dynamics that come into place.
So do you think Coach Ward is the best dressed coach in the PSL? I'm going to depend on another.
You know what? Yeah, he is. When it comes to, I don't want to say when you wear certain brands, you're the best dressed, because brands don't make you like stylish or anything. But I think the way it looks on him, definitely he's that guy right now. Because you see, even when the ball is on the touchline, no shit it, you're no trap at it. Keeping your luck in 2 meters and big pants. So the guy's confident.
That's
so
the best.
Yeah, that's the best. So it's showing even in the drip. The man is just a confident man right now, and it's showing even in his style of appearance.
I know. Yeah. I see that.
Seriously.
Like a stress.
You know my life.
Shaban Balbus. Remember, the high blood.
I'm a makeup artist.
I know if it's Kulumile.
One love.
Nice football conversation. You heard it yourself. Sipombule, does he need to pull up his socks? Is he that guy that can bring the glory days to Bafana? Take us as far as at least the final. But also, what role is he want to play? Is he the best number 10 that we have in the country? Zashim Chita is Relebogile Mofokeng, the best number 10 we have in the country. Should he even go to the World Cup? Hugo Bruce, is he unfair? Because there are certain players that he doesn't give a call up because Base Benching. But his favorite players when they bench, to ever be Zananoma Base Benching. Last but not least, Thembinkosi Lorch and Shabalala. Do either of them deserve to go to the AFCON and represent Bafana? If yes, please let us know why. Sapi na foot. That's not true. Bakuli na one bitches. Kakuli na one bitches. In another tendency of like we don't know it all. Not just based on how we see the game, how we read the game, and how we understand the game, and also based on if you give what the ball, where Swagala no Mukuluma, but he's played the game. So yeah, Bafetu Asiba and Nasira Pelana, thank you, sir. Respect for you.
You are